So I actually grew up in church, and during my teenage years, my youth pastor had a profound impact on my life. And I thought, I would like to do that. I would like to have an impact on young people's lives. And so I committed my life to becoming a youth pastor. I went to college for that and studied that. And when I got out of college, I became the youth pastor at Emmanuel Baptist Church in Corona, Michigan, and did that for a couple years. And then I was the associate pastor there. And Michigan's economy had a really tough time around 2008. And because I had to kind of look for a new job. And so through all that, I ended up moving to New York, which is where my wife is from. And I took on a general manager's role at the Comfort Inn and Suites in Saratoga Springs, New York. So all of these things that I mentioned, so our youth pastor and now general manager of a hotel, it has nothing to do with branding or marketing. But you're going to learn how they all tied in here in a second. But I went in on Friday. I was the associate pastor of a mid-sized church, and then on Monday I'm now the general manager of this humongous hotel in upstate New York, an unfamiliar place, an unfamiliar job, and so I just committed myself to learning it. And I took some time to understand the industry. Obviously, being a pastor, I knew a lot about hospitality, but never in that context. And so I actually did some research and found the top 10 comfort inns in America. And I called their general managers and asked them 10 questions. And 7 of those general managers took the time to really answer my questions. The other 3 kind of blew me off like I was wasting their time. But a lot of them said a lot of different things, but there was a few things that all of them said that has really helped me in the hotel industry, and it's really helped me today. And the one thing that really stood out that all of them said was, you have to have the right people working for you. You have to have the right people. And so through that time and even now, I have committed myself to surrounding myself with good people. And Zach and Brenda are an example of those great people. They have really helped AZ become what it is. And so I took that hotel that was a middle of the road. We were ranked about number 700 out of the brand. And within 2 years, we were a platinum award-winning hotel. We actually took our staff service ranking from number 1,399 out of 1,400 hotels again to number 36 in the nation. At one point, we were the number 1 Comfort Inn in New York State in all categories. We got Gold Award, Platinum Award. I got a plaque from the CEO of Choice Hotels for the highest complaint reduction of any hotel in a 1-year period. So I was excited about that. Did that for about 3.5 years. And as things would happen, we got homesick. We missed Owasso, this little place here in the middle of Michigan that nobody knows. It was our home, and we missed it. And so we found a way to come back. We ran the hotel here locally, and that, again, was a struggling hotel that we just committed ourselves to helping it, and we turned that hotel around until they sold the hotel. 3 years later, we had completely changed it. They were able to sell it for almost double what they were asking when I first took over. And the new owners came in and kind of wanted to take it in a different direction. Now, all this time, through being a youth pastor, an associate pastor, being a general manager of 2 different hotels, experiences in New York and experiences in Michigan, I was learning a lot of things. Didn't realize I was grooming myself to become an entrepreneur. I'd always had that in my heart. I always felt like I should work for myself, but I never really knew what I would do or what I wanted to do, but it was all kind of part of the plan and part of the process. And so when the new owners came in, they kind of wanted to do things different. I felt like I was starting all over. And so a company that was one of our biggest clients, Crest Pontoon, here in Owasso, Michigan, they're one of the fastest growing pontoon manufacturers in the country. They had been recruiting me for over a year to come run their customer service division. Well, again, another industry I didn't know anything about, but I decided to take it on because things weren't going well at the hotel from my perspective. And I went there, and they gave me an office, like 6 or 7 employees, and a really low workload. My job was Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, no nights, no weekends, which was the opposite of the hotel business. They gave me 3 weeks paid vacation, a nice salary, and literally I could sit at my desk for at least half the day and watch Netflix. And you would have thought that this was the dream job, but I was miserable. I was unhappy. I wasn't doing something that I enjoyed or was passionate about, and I just wasn't thriving there. And all throughout that time, I would come home and I would tell my wife, honey, I don't like this. And she'd be like, just wait it out. It's a good job. It's good for our family. We get to see you a lot more. And I certainly loved being able to see my family more, but because the hotel business really took me away from them. But I just wasn't happy. And so I started thinking about a way out, how to get out of this thing that I was in. And I started thinking, what about starting my own business? And I talked to people about it. And at this time, I had 5 children, and I had a steady paycheck and steady income. And so to leave all that and try to go and start a new business with no guarantee when my next paycheck would come was a scary thing. It was a daunting thing. And it wasn't something that my wife was super excited about. So I met with a couple investors and tried to get some people on board. I decided that I would start a marketing company. I knew that I had a knack for helping people grow businesses. I had helped a lot of different organizations. I had helped a lot of different ministries in our church grow. I had helped 2 hotels grow. I had to do all of the branding and marketing there, and the web design and the graphic design. I kind of had to teach myself that. So I thought, well, if anything, I know how to help businesses grow. So then I came up with a bunch of different names, and I could show you all the old logos I tried to design and everything. But we came up with AZ Business Solutions, growing your brand from A to Z. And I started out in my house in a little small office in the corner that we kind of made, didn't even have 4 walls, and just started going to meet with clients and asking them if they would give me the opportunity to design some projects. And one of our first clients ever was Johnny V's Smokehouse. The new owners had just taken over. And then we got the Pines Country Inn, and McLaren Rental, and shortly right thereafter we got Woodworth Commercial. Woodworth Commercial was actually the first company that hired us to build a website for them. So we had a few big players that believed in us, and I just kind of always thought I would be a single person entrepreneur working out of my house. And it got to the point where working out of my house was rather difficult. It was hard. The kids coming in and out, especially during the summer when the kids are home from school, it was really hard to concentrate. So I found myself going to coffee shops and working. But then when you go to coffee shops, you live in a small town and you know everybody. So everybody that comes in wants to have a 5-minute conversation, which I'm a talker, so I enjoyed that. But, 10, 15, 2-hour conversations. I heard you whisper that, Brenda. Everything you say can be heard on these mics. So we're talkers. And so I just found myself wasting a lot of time throughout the day having these conversations and not getting things done. And so I talked to Randy Woodworth, Woodworth Commercial, and I said, I need something cheap. I need an office. It can be small. I have $100 a month. What can you give me? And he said, I got the perfect spot in their building. And it was basically a closet. It was like they drywalled. Actually, when he showed it to me, there was a bunch of paint buckets and everything in there. They drywalled it for me and put carpet down. And it literally was like an 8x6, janitor's closet. But I set up a desk in there and my iMac, and I got to work. And I would go there, and it was quiet, and I could get work done. And the business started to grow, and it just got to the point where I'm like, man, I'm not smart enough, nor good enough, nor organized enough to do this on my own, and the workload's getting too heavy. I need to find somebody. I need to hire somebody who can help me with the organization, help me with managing clients, help me with the social media load. And through our church, I knew of Brenda Bruce, and I approached her about coming to work for me, and she seemed interested. I wasn't sure why, because she's much more talented than what I could offer to pay her. But she came on, and at that time, the office was too small for both of us to work in. So we gave up that office, and literally we were both trying to work remotely. She'd work from her house, I'd work from my house. Some days we would meet down at Foster Coffee. Some days we'd meet at Guido's. Wherever we could get a quiet place, sometimes we'd meet at our church. And it just was extremely inconvenient, and we were not able to collaborate on things the way we needed to. So again, I talked to Randy about getting us another space, and then he had a spot up on the 3rd floor of the Exchange building. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
We got this, I think it was a 10 by 12 office.
Yep.
We had a little corner desk. I was in one corner, you were in the other, and we both kind of just sat there and worked. We had a little coffee maker, and we had a TV. I could watch SportsCenter all day while you tried to work. And
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed there. And we just kind of made that work for us for a little while. But again, it just became to the point where we realized we needed another person. And the workload, again, was getting to be too much. And so we brought on Laura McKay. And she was a talented graphic designer. So we got another office suite right next door, like a 10 by 10 or something. Mm-hmm. So now we had 2 office suites. So we're like ballers now. We're like big ballers. We're feeling like brand new carpet paint. Yeah, we had fun decorating those offices. It smelled like paint for about 2 weeks, so we were getting high every day, so that's always fun at work. And
Get more stuff done.
get a lot. Well, depends on what kind of high, I guess. But no, but we were having a great time, and Laura was doing good, and Brenda was doing well. They had their own office. I had my own office, and then somebody approached us about the Armory, and about what do they call that? Pre-leasing or a letter of intent, basically. Sign a letter of intent that we would lease some space here. And so at that time, we knew this was going to be premium space, and I didn't know that we'd be able to afford it. But about 2 years before we moved in, I just signed and said, all right, we're going to be there. We're going to be ready by the time they come. And I just said, give me the smallest office they have there. Well, by the time they were ready to open, we actually needed 2 of the bigger spaces they have. And so we got those. At one point, we had 3 spaces in here. And then we brought on Zach Snyder, the infamous social media video guy extraordinaire. And at first, he was working in a factory, wasn't real happy, and we offered him a job with no skill or no ability or no talent, but with a desire to learn, maybe a little skill, but kind of gave him the vision. And when he first came, it was kind of like, I don't know if this is going to work out. We didn't know what to have you do. You know, we realized that as much work as we had to do, we didn't have time to stop and train. And so for the first probably 2 months, it was kind of like, I don't know what to give Zach to do today. And I think he was getting frustrated, and I knew that there was potential there, but I wasn't sure kind of how to. Well, then he just started picking up on things really quickly. And then by that time, Laura actually had determined to move on to some other things, and Zach took over. And now here we are 5 years in. Business is doing well. We've worked with well over 100 different companies and helping them grow their brand. Today we are hosting nearly 50 websites for different companies. We are managing over 70 social media accounts. We are working on graphic design projects literally almost every day. And we are just a small part of a lot of really successful businesses experiencing growth. And it's awesome, and we love it, and we are excited. So guys, congratulations to us, I guess, on 5 years, and I'm excited about what the next 5 years I have to bring.